We've all been there. Had a coworker who we consider a friend throw us under the bus in the middle of a meeting or behind our backs to other colleagues, a client, or our boss. A leader who we admired or at least thought that we had a decent relationship with set us up for the okie doke because they were threatened or otherwise intimidated by our skill set, capability, and potential. Or a relationship through our professional, philanthropic, political, social, religious, or other organizations who we fellowshipped, collaborated, socialized, and worked with for years that seemingly plotted against us for their own personal opportunity and thirst to climb the institutional ladder. If you've ever been wounded in your professional endeavors, including church, volunteer, social, or other affiliations outside of your personal construct, you've come to the right place. Today, we're talking about overcoming workplace betrayal. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Jennifer Mitchell-Early. I help individuals and teams achieve organizational and personal success, and this is Leadership Matters. Leaders in all walks of life experience betrayal. Whether it's betrayal from subordinates, cohorts, or others, we have to learn how to overcome the feelings of hurt, disappointment, distrust, anger, resentment, rejection, and the associated feelings that come along with it. I've been in leadership most of my life. I can tell you firsthand that a life in public service comes with its share of betrayals. Whether from fear, envy, or disdain, the motive makes little difference and does not change the scope of the magnifying glass or the intensity of the spotlight. As a leader, you must have thick skin and a strategy for overcoming the betrayals that are an unfortunate byproduct of leadership, especially effective leadership. Whether public or private sector, for-profit or nonprofit, religious or social, Greek or professional, leaders come under legitimate and sometimes unscrupulous scrutiny that can devolve into breaches of trust, severed relationships, dysfunction, and interpersonal mayhem. And even though leaders may have been called, elected, appointed, ordained, volunteered, or have served in their capacity for some time, it doesn't make them immune from this subterfuge. I had a situation where I believe that I had a relationship with someone. Our kids were in the same class for years. We chatted each other up every time we saw one another. We shared an affiliation, served together, cheered each other on, etc. I actually thought this person was, at the very least, an associate through the association we shared. Yet, without notice, consideration, or seemingly a second thought, this person covertly conspired against me. And even though I've lived in a fishbowl and occupied leadership positions most of my life, and that this isn't the first time and undoubtedly won't be the last time that something like this happens, it doesn't lessen the unsuspecting sting of the knife in my back. Yet leaders have to be able to overcome betrayal so that the associated feelings, instincts, and defense mechanisms don't become an obstacle that handicaps future leadership endeavors. We have to stop focusing on the who and why, because God and karma will handle that. Instead, we need to turn our attention to the what now. What can I do to put this in the rear view so that I can focus on the future? So the question remains, how do leaders overcome the sense of betrayal and move on with clarity and understanding of what actually happened? Purpose, recognizing what you're there for, and resilience, strength, and the willingness to put yourself back out there, giving yourself and new folks a clean slate. Listen, even Jesus was betrayed. He was betrayed by his own disciples, his own leaders, those who operated in his stead as an extension of his authority, power, and grace. Some of you have been betrayed by your own people, folks that you have fed spiritually, mentored and coached, or by so-called friends who, when given the opportunity, misrepresented you, your motives, or intentions. Like Jesus, you were betrayed by those closest to you with the most insight into what you do, why you do what you do, and how you do what you do. Jesus was not immune to betrayal. Judas, one of the 12 disciples, a friend whom Jesus trusted with the group's finances, turned him in to be crucified. What's perhaps worse is that Judas accepted 30 pieces of silver in exchange for the life of his friend. Matthew 26:14 through 16. He betrayed Jesus with a kiss. Matthew 26:49. Jesus knew that Judas would betray him, yet he chose to bring him into his inner fellowship. Jesus called Judas friend even after the kiss that would lead to his arrest. Though Jesus' internal struggle with Judas's betrayal is not recorded, we can assume that was difficult for him emotionally. After all, he was wrapped in flesh. What we do know is that he instructed Judas to do what he'd set in his mind to do. He didn't stop him, embarrass him, or call him out. Jesus didn't return evil for evil. Instead, he responded to Judas graciously. He pressed on to the task that he was called to by the Father. Peter also betrayed Jesus, albeit on a smaller level. The disciple who vowed to follow Jesus to death in Matthew 26:33 through 35, 3 times denied even knowing Jesus. After his resurrection, Jesus restored Peter, giving him 3 opportunities to affirm his love for Jesus and confirming his trust in Peter, the disciple. John 21:5 through 19. If the Son of God can be betrayed by his disciples, a follower and student, then what makes us think that as leaders we will be exempt? How do we overcome workplace betrayal? Experience the pain of betrayal. Don't minimize your sense of hurt. Pour it out to God. We must acknowledge when we have been hurt, and then we need to share that hurt with someone who understands. God understands. Don't bury your negative emotions. Trying to keep a stiff upper lip while enduring betrayal can be hazardous to your health. Suppressing strong emotions like anger, hurt, and anxiety can manifest in physical symptoms of sleeplessness, headaches, digestive disorders, and general irritability. Recognize that these feelings may get triggered in unexpected situations. When we are consumed by negative emotions, they can cloud our judgment, distort how we see ourselves and others, and create chronic feelings of being overwhelmed. That's why it's critical to have an outlet. In addition to journaling, finding a therapist or coach to talk with can help. Acknowledge that your behaviors need to be altered. Recognize that you can't trust your colleagues or whomever in the same way. Forgive. When we forgive someone, we're really giving ourselves a gift, especially when people intentionally inflict pain on us. Our withholding our forgiveness hurts us more than it does them. To be clear, to forgive someone is to give up our right to vengeance. We acknowledge that their act was wrong. We'll be more careful in trusting them with certain issues, or may decide not to engage with them at all if possible. But we do not attempt to get back at them. We don't betray someone who has betrayed us. And finally, let go and move on. Accept what is. Acceptance is not about condoning what happened, but accepting it without blame. It takes work, time, and commitment. The bigger the betrayal, the bigger the impact, and the greater the challenge. In time, you'll be able to relegate the betrayal to your past, at least for the most part. You may never be able to let go of it entirely, but it'll no longer affect your life in any great way. You may even be able to see it as an important moment in your life that has benefited you in the long run. Remember, everything done in the dark comes to the light. And that spotlighted betrayal is working for your good, even if you can't see it now. If you found this video valuable, please hit the like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload new content. See you in my next video.